called West Side Story.
Oh, Jack.
I don't know if anyone's ever seen West Side Story. So it was a famous play, dance, and musical, and then it became a movie. And now they did a remake of it. And one of the oh, it's okay. The world's talking. They'll keep talking. Oh, Harinam will continue. So one of the most famous songs from this Broadway musical is Maria. And he sings about how, how does it go? Say it loud and it sounds like something. Say it soft and it sounds like praying. Maria, right? He's in love with this girl, Maria. Maria, everything is Maria, right? For this guy, he's in love. Everything is Maria. So who here has ever felt like they've been in love like that, where they just say the name of the person and it's like, how's it going? Come on, who's ever felt like they've been in love like that before? Come on, let's be honest. Even if it was just for an afternoon. Or when you saw a particular Bollywood or Hollywood movie. Oh. Maria. Shah Rukh Khan. So, whoever it is, it used to be Amitabh Bachchan. But now, for what's it? They're just lists of names, right? So anyway, we've been in love. Now, if you're in love with someone, say you're with your beloved, and you're dressed in tuxedo, expensive clothes, and she's wearing a dress, and you're on your way to a fancy thing, and you're in love, and then it's raining, and you're rushing to the car, you don't want to get wet, and then, you're like laughing, and it's like there's mud everywhere, it's like everything's a big joke, and it's like, it might ruin the evening, and it's just like, it doesn't matter, and then you get a flat tire, and you're out there in the rain, it's just everything's ecstasy when you're in love, right? The problem is that love fades, right? But that feeling of love, it comes from a source. The source of that love is eternal. There's an ancient Puranic verse that says, "O husband, when you look at your wife, the beauty you see is actually the beauty of the Lord shining through her. The garland that decorates her neck, that garland is only beautiful because it's animated by the consciousness of the Lord." Right? That actually all the beauty that we see is a reflection. Or one example that the Goswamis give is you can see the moon reflected on water. And you can see the beautiful moon. Or you can see it reflected in oil. Or you can see it reflected on a polished surface. And they're all made beautiful because they're reflecting the source, the moon. So we're seeing in so many places this beauty around us, but that beauty has a source. And we're taught that if we can cry in love to our original beloved, then that connection is reestablished. I'd like to tell a little story and then sing a song along with that story. The story is the story of Dhruva. Dhruva was a prince. And his father was a very powerful king. And he had two sons, each from a different wife. You guys can hear me in the back, right? Okay, good. So, one wife was younger and more beautiful, and one wife was a little older, maybe a little past her prime. And so the king was very much in love with
the younger one.
That's right, the younger wife. This is an age-old story, my friends. So one day these two boys, half-brothers, were playing in the throne room. And Dhruva, the son of the older queen, he jumped on his father's lap. And they were laughing and joking. And he felt suddenly his stepmother's hand grab him and throw him to the floor. And she said, "Dhruva, don't ever make that mistake, even in a game. you will never sit on the throne of your father. And I'm telling you this, not because I hate you, to protect you, so that you understand that if you make this mistake, you'll have lots of suffering. You'll never sit on the throne, even in a game. Dhruva was just laughing and joking. He wasn't thinking, like, I'm going to sit on the king's throne. And it's described, Bhagavatam, the story is from Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's described that he was like a snake that had been stepped on. So much, anger. He was a little warrior boy. He's only 6 years old. Imagine, like I have a 13. My son just turned 13 today.
Oh, Haribo!
So these young boys with all this spirit. He was so mad and so offended, and he ran home to his mother, who was a very saintly lady. And he buried his head in her sari, and he's weeping and getting her sari all wet from his tears. And she's holding him and hugging him. And he tells her what happened. And she says, after some time of listening, she says, Dhruva, she's right. She's telling you the truth, actually. You shouldn't hate her because she's speaking the truth. This is your destiny. This is the hand that fate gave you. You will not sit on the throne. And you should just accept it. And Dhruva said, what does any 6-year-old boy say? It's not fair. It's not fair. Life isn't fair. So she's like holding him and encouraging him, and she tells him, all I can say, Dhruva, is you can do what all the sages do. When they want something from the Lord, they go to the forest and they meditate and they pray. There's only one person who can satisfy your desires, and that's the Lord. So maybe she thought she was telling him a bedtime story, but Dhruva, with a little Kshatriya, a little warrior heart beating in his chest, he took it as an instruction. And that night, he packed a few things and he hit the road. And he went into the jungle alone, and he began to meditate on this form of the Lord that his mother had given him. She described Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu. You want to try that? Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu. Auspicious is this beautiful form of the Lord. His skin is the color of a blackish rain cloud. Mangalam Garuda Dvaja. Mangalam Garuda Dvaja. The Garuda carries him wherever he goes. Mangalam Pundarik Aksha. Mangalam Pundarik Aksha. His eyes, you'll recognize him because his eyes are the shape of fully blossomed lotus petals. I learned recently that Pundarik is a special way of describing, because it's not just a lotus petal, but it's a lotus petal tinged with the colors of the rising sun. One Sanskrit scholar described that to me. I'd never known that. Pundarik Aksha, that his eyes are the shape and the color of a lotus flower tinged by the rising sun. Mangalaya Tano Hari. Everything is auspicious about this divine form of the Lord. So this is the form she gave Dhruva. So we'll chant this a little bit. If it's very complicated, don't worry, you won't get it all. I'll give you this other mantra we're chanting, but I'll just do it one more time. Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu. Mangalam Garuda Dvaja. Mangalam Pundarikaksha. Mangalaya Tano Hari. So this is the form. He was meditating on this form. So I'll pause the story there.